Good afternoon, one and all. Today we are going to discuss how to measure some other parameters like fuel consumption, volume, air consumption, like that. Uh, Previously, what we have discussed in previous class, like brake power, indicated power, measurement of cylinder pressure. So by knowing cylinder pressure, is it helpful for us? Definitely it is going to help for us. If we found out the cylinder pressure, we can find out indicated power as well as brake power. So how can we find? The indicated power is, this is the one method, and by basing on this we can also find out the indicated power with the help of indicated mean effective pressure. So how to uh, indicate, how to measure indicated mean effective pressure, we have already seen with the help of this diagram, and with the help of planimeter we are going to find out area, and by that we can get the network of the cycle. Nothing but this is the indicated network, nothing but the indicated area, this is nothing but the indicated network. So that it will be helpful for us to find out indicated power. So by substituting the indicated mean effective pressure in this formula, we will get the indicated power directly, or else we have several other methods, and we will discuss in coming classes. Next, coming to brake power, we have to know the brake power with the help of this formula, or with the help of this indicated diagram. It is not possible. Why? Because we can't predict the amount of energy delivered to the crankshaft. So finally we can't do like that. So that's why we have an absorption element here. Okay, there will be an absorption device where with the help of this absorption device we are going to have some length of movement arm, and by having some force because of the rotation of the crankshaft, we are going to absorb that force. That means whatever the force available here, that is going to be measured with the help of scale, and by having Rf into N, where N is the speed of crankshaft, will give us the brake power. So this is the way which we already discussed earlier in the previous class, and we can make it this as a constant value. Why? Because we need to vary the speed according to the variation of speed. This force and speed in RPM are going to change. So that what happens at particular point, particular brake power is going to there, and we will take the average brake power. So this is the constant where we can make it as a constant. Why? Because this R is not going to change, and also 2 pi is also a constant, and 60,000 is also a constant. So we make it as a constant, and by varying the speed, these two are varied. So different brake powers at different points and different speeds we can get with the help of this formula. And by with the help of this we can find out the R and F here, and the speed we can directly know with the help of rotameter. There will be a rotameter which is sorry, tachometer. Tachometer is the device which will help us to find out the speed in RPM. Next, measurement of fuel consumption. I already discussed this yesterday. How there are several errors. Of course, the fuel consumption is a simple thing to see, but it is going to have several errors here. Because of these errors, in one case of fuel measurement device, that means in particular fuel measurement device, there may be some errors. Okay, depending upon the type of device we use to measure fuel consumption. Specifically for the device, there will be some errors. So we already discussed all these errors yesterday, and here basically today we are going to see particularly on the instruments which are used to measure the fuel consumption. So in that way, we are going to have three different types of fuel measurement methods. One is only two basic types, but when the we need to know the accurate fuel consumption on road. On road, these are nothing but the laboratory methods, and this is the accurate method which will give us. That means this accurate method is going to involve driver's habits, and how he is going to accelerate, how he is going to decelerate, and also the traffic. Okay, here the traffic also plays a major role in fuel consumption. Why? Because we are going to vary speeds, and whenever the signals are there, traffic signals are there, we need to stall the engine. That means the engine is going to be in neutral. Of course it is running, but it is not moving, right? So that's why there, a real method which comes into place is nothing but the fuel consumption measurement in vehicles. And basically we make this fuel measurement in case of kmpl in units, kilometers per liter. That means by taking 1 liter of fuel, how much distance it can travel with the help of that. And by having accurate measurement, that means accurate real conditions we can assume here. That means we can take accurate real conditions here. What are the condition with the engine, okay, basically is there, that is going to be implemented here. So it is the most accurate fuel measurement technique or method. So first of all, we will go with this two methods which are basic methods which we use basically in laboratory. So one is a volumetric type and a gravimetric type. Okay, why we need to find out volumetric type as well as gravimetric type? Volumetric type means how much volume is going to consume to develop such power. There may be some power to develop, and to develop such power, how much fuel is going to be consumed, volume based. And why we need to maintain a gravimetric type, and why we need to measure in a gravimetric method? Why? Because here whatever the indicated power is there, those all are going to be in kg, kilograms per second. So that means on mass basis we need to do, on mass basis how much fuel is going to consume to generate such power. Okay, whatever the mathematical methods are there to find out different efficiencies, different power outputs are there. Okay, those are all going to based upon the mass basis only. That means a kg per second, like that we need. Okay, so that's why we need to go with the gravimetric type. Why? Because all the mathematical formulas to find out power outputs as well as efficiencies are going to be in the kilowatts only. So that means we need to take the gravimetric type, and this is the real accurate method where we can face uh, actual measures here. Whatever the driver is going to face here, that is going to be accurately taken here in the, and we will measure this in the units of kmpl, that means kilometers per liter. So we will discuss one by one. In volumetric type, we have three methods. One is a burette method, and the other one is automatic burette flow meter, where the stopper is going to be automatically on and off. That means the start and stop of the stopper or timer is going to be with the hands of equipment only. Okay, in burette method, we need to record the time which is the fuel consumed per given quantity of fuel. And next one is orifice flow meter. Here we use orifice here, and we will discuss one by one. First of all, in burette method, how we are going to measure the volume of fuel consumed to generate such power, particular quantity of power. Coming to burette method, in any of these three methods, we will first calculate the volume. Okay, and by taking volume divided by time taken to consume that much amount of volume will give us the volumetric type measurement of fuel. That means we can measure the fuel consumption by taking particular quantity of fuel, and by taking particular quantity of fuel for real consuming of that particular quantity of fuel, how much time it has taken. That means volume taken by time taken to consume that volume. How much volume we have taken, that much to consume that volume of fuel, how much time it has taken. That is what the volumetric type. Okay, in that volumetric type, in any of these three methods, first of all we will send some known quantity of fuel, and we will record the time. We will record the time at the start and stop of the engine. That means how much time it has taken to consume the whole fuel, that we will record that time. Okay, nothing but volume we already know, and the time taken by records we will get. So that is what the method to find out the fuel consumption in case of engine. So in volumetric method, we have three methods. In all these three methods, I said already how to find out the fuel consumption. First of all, coming to burette method, here we are going to have two glass burettes here. This is one glass burette, and this is one glass burette of two known quantities. Okay, this is a glass burette of 100 cc, and this is the glass burette of 200 cc. Okay, So from fuel tank directly we have three-way cock here, and whenever we need to measure fuel consumption, whenever only we need to measure fuel consumption, this will this three-way cock will allow the fuel into this 100 cc bulb, glass bulb, and the 200 cc glass bulb. And what is the other way? Third way, this is one way and this is the second way, and the third way is whenever we no need to measure the fuel consumption, then we will directly send it to the engine. Okay, so that's what the difference between that's what why we are using three-way cock here. Okay, two cocks are to fill the two glass bulbs here, and the other cock is to directly send the fuel into the engine. So when we use these two cocks, whenever we need to measure the fuel consumption, then we use we open these two cocks, and the other cock, whenever there is no need of measuring fuel consumption, we directly send from that cock to the engine. That's what the use of three-way cock here, to direct the fuel wherever we need it. That is what we use. That's the purpose to use three-way cock here. And here coming to measure the fuel consumption, here we have two types of glass bulbs. Why we are going to take glass bulbs? Two glass bulbs, nothing but for accuracy. Okay, so to maintain the accuracy, that means for 100 cc is taken some 20 seconds. Okay, so exactly the 200 cc volume, to consume the volume fuel of 200 cc volume, how much time it should take? Definitely it should take 40. That means it is nothing but a trial and error, not trial and error, confirmation method. Okay, so the volume within the 100 cc is going to take 20 seconds, means it should exactly take 40 seconds. Otherwise, there may be some fault in the flow measurement. So that predicts, okay, whatever the volume it has, okay, until it completes, it should be half of the bulb should be half of the volume of fuel within this bulb should be consumed. Otherwise, whatever the readings we have taken, that is going to be as a waste. That means there may be some errors. So for confirmation, we are going to use two bulbs here, okay, of two different quantities, but they are known quantities like 100 cc and 200 cc. And whenever we directly connect this engine, whenever we run the engine, in between the index we need to take. So for both the glass bulbs, the index is going to be at the same level, right? So whenever here 100 cc and we have taken 200 cc bulb here, and within that we have taken full of fuel here, and we have taken full of fuel, and we have now stopped the three-way cock. That means we have cut down the supply. That means we should ensure that exactly 100 cc volume should be there within the 100 this bulb, and exactly 200 cc in this bulb. Okay, to filling, for the filling purpose, it both will take the same time. Okay, both the glass bulb will take the same time because of this opening. Okay, here the opening is different, here the opening is going to be different. Okay, here the opening is going to be double here. So by having such opening, the same amount, not same amount, so both are going to be filled within the same time. So after filling these two glass bulbs, we are going to stop the three-way cock, and now we will start the engine. Now we will start the engine, and it will consume some fuel. Okay, while starting the engine, we should ensure that it should run at constant speeds. Otherwise, if the speed varies, automatically the fuel consumption is going to vary. So we need to do engine operation at constant speed. Then only we will get particular quantities. Otherwise, we don't know the speed, then it is going as a waste here. So definitely we need to make the speed of engine as a constant. That means 1200 rpm, whether it may be 1200, 500, whatever it may be, it should be maintained in a constant speed. Then only whatever the fuel consumption we have taken at particular speed is going to be the same at any condition. Okay, so that's why here whenever we have filled these glass bulbs, we will stop this three-way clock. That means no fuel is going to get into these gas bulbs during the consumption of fuel by the engine. Now we will start the engine, and whatever the fuel is going to be consumed here, okay, here 100 cc of fuel is going to be consumed here, and we will record the time. Whenever we start the engine, we will have timer, and we will start the timer. And for consumption of this whole particular 100 cc of fuel, how much time it has taken. Okay, and at the same time it should be consumed for exactly half of it. So we need to do some somewhat extra calculations. Why? Because at the same time we are opening both the volume fuel from both the glass bulbs. So here from some 100 cc is going to take, here some 100 cc is going to take. So for 100 cc consumption of fuel, we need to make it as by 2 when it is exactly 100 cc only. So until the whole fuel is consumed here, here exactly half of the fuel should be consumed here. So here 100 cc, here 100 cc. So totally we will get the 200 cc of fuel consumption by the engine. So 200 cc of fuel consumption, and for the consumption of such fuel, how much time it has taken. Okay, so volume, we already have volume, that is 200 cc by time taken is we will record the time. At the stop of the engine, we will stop the timer, and in between start and stop, we will record the time, and the time is going to be taken place at the denominator. So volume by time will give us the fuel consumption on volumetric basis. That is what, and in that way we are going to find out the fuel consumption in case of burette method. Okay, next coming to the automatic volumetric fuel flow meter. Okay, this is one of the device where there is no need of us. Okay, in this case there may be some observation errors. Okay, we may start the timer after the start of engine somewhat lately, or we may start somewhat early. So there are some errors in the observation. So that's why we need to eliminate the errors, and at the end of the this consumption also, there may be some errors. There may be some observation errors. We can't see this index as perfect as possible. So that's why there are some errors are possible to be there. So that's why what we are going to do is automatic timer we are going to attach with the help of several equipment. So this is what the device which will measure fuel consumption, and that too automatically. Here we are not the observer. The device itself is an observer for the start and stop of the engine. That means the timer and start and stop will be achieved by the, or organized by this device itself. So here there is no work for us to do, and here the whole device is going to be doing its work. So first of all, we should know the parts here. Here for this automatic volumetric fuel flow meter, or to measure the fuel, this is a device where we are going to have several parts here. Listen clearly here. This is the measuring volume from here to here. That is the measuring volume. You can say clearly here, this is up to here, from here. Okay, this is the measuring volume, maybe up to here. Okay, from here to here, that is the measuring volume. Okay, and you can see clearly here. Okay, this is the measuring volume here, and after that a is the measuring volume, and B is the photocell. Here we have photocell, and C is the light source. Okay, here B is the photocell, C is the light source, and around this we have housing. This is two housings. This is one housing, and this is one housing. Okay, this is the housing for photocell, and this is the housing for light source. Okay, similarly the same arrangement is here. Okay, the same arrangement is going to be here. Okay, this is the upper and this is the lower. Okay, this is the upper housing and this is the lower housing, where we have here also one photocell will be there, and one light source will be there. Here also one photocell will be there, one light source will be there, and this is the equalization chamber. Okay, and this is the D is the equalization chamber, and this is the air pipe, connecting pipe we can call. Okay, this is the air pipe or connecting pipe. E is the air pipe connecting pipe, and this is the equalization pipe here. Okay, this is the G is the equalization pipe here, and F is magnetic valve here. Okay, what is F? Magnetic valve. Okay, I will tell again. Why? Because it will be hard for you to remind that much easily. So I am going to tell this again. A is measuring volume, B is photocell, C is light source, and around this we have his casing or housing around this, and the same here we have established here B and C photocell, light source, and D is the equalization chamber, and E is the air pipe, or it is going to connect this equalization chamber as well as this E is throughout this chamber, throughout this measuring volume, and also it is in connection with this magnetic wall, and also in connection with this equalization pipe here. Okay, so this E is not ended here, it is going to be in connection with all these. Okay, E is going to be, that means this air pipe is going to be in connection with this magnetic wall, this equalization pipe, as well as this equalization chamber. So you should keep in mind that E is not ended here, it is going to be throughout the device, okay, which connects equalization chamber, this magnetic wall, as well as this equalization pipe here. Okay, so whenever, that is what the simple description of this type of flow meter. And whenever we need to measure the fuel, okay, whenever we need to measure the fuel, then this equalization chamber is going to open here, and whatever the fuel is there, that is going to be accumulated in this equalization chamber. And whenever we start the measurement, okay, whenever we start the measurement, then equalization chamber gets filled, and there is there is a magnetic wall here which stops the flow from fuel tank. Okay, so here this is the flow from fuel tank from here to here, and whenever we have started this equipment, whenever we have started the device to measure the fuel consumption, it is going to slightly move upwards, so that it will restrict the fuel from the fuel tank directly to the engine. So now the fuel tank, the fuel is going to the engine, not from the fuel tank directly. Okay, it is going to be coming from this equalization chamber. So whenever we start the measurement of fuel consumption, here we have equalization chamber where it will be filled first. Okay, so after filling it through this pipe, air pipe, all the fuel is going to get throughout this. Okay, that means it will fill the whole device here. Okay, whenever this is started, equalization chamber first fills, and this equalization chamber is going through this equalization chamber, and through this pipe all the fuel is distributed to all the parts. That means to fill this whole measuring volume and all this, from equalization chamber we will supply the fuel from the fuel tank. Okay, whenever there is no need of measurement of fuel, whenever there is no need of measurement of fuel, this will be empty, and there will be inlet magnetic wall which is open, and this magnetic wall where it is open will allow the fuel directly from fuel tank to the engine. Okay, so whenever we need to measure, this magnetic wall will slightly move upwards, and that means it will restrict the flow from the fuel tank. Only the flow from fuel from this equalization chamber is going to be getting. So whenever we start the engine, okay, whenever we start the engine, this is the measuring volume which we have taken. There is particular quantity, it may be some 100 cc, 200 cc, 300 cc, different capacity bulbs are going to be there, different measuring volume capacity devices are going to be there. This for suppose we can take 100 cc measuring volume, 200 cc measuring volume, 300 cc measuring volume, 400 cc measuring volume, like that, depending upon the amount or quantity of fuel we need to take, that much amount of volume of fuel is going to be there in between the measuring volume. Okay, so that's what we need to know first. Okay, so here this is the measuring volume which is of known quantity. Whatever the quantity may be, it is of known quantity. Like we already know the quantity of fuel, so that in the calculation of fuel consumption, first of all we need to take volume and time recorded. Volume by time is nothing but the fuel consumption, right? So that's why it should be a known quantity. Measuring volume should be a known quantity here. So whenever this fuel up to here is consumed by the engine already, so whenever the fuel level is here, whenever the level is here, the timer is going to start now. How means, here there will be a light source which will be always reflecting some light. Okay, which will always emit some light here. At the same time, here there will be a photocell. So the light rays from this will be in such an angle where this is going to reflect on this photocell. So whenever the fuel level is here, whenever the fuel level is exactly here, this light, whatever the light emitted by the light source is there, it is going to emit the photocell. That means these light rays are going to directly reflect towards the photocell. So whenever this photocell is going to get light, okay, whenever this photocell is going to get light, then it will automatically starts the timer. Okay, I already said this is automatic volumetric fuel flow meter. So here an automatic time start and time stop is going to be there. So whenever the fuel quantity is exactly here, okay, exactly here, then this is going to emit, that means always there is a light coming from it, but when the level is here, it is exactly going to reflect the light onto the photocell, where by photocell, whenever this photocell is going to retrieve the light source, then it is going to start the timer. Okay, so the timer is going to start, and after some time the whole fuel is going to be consumed here. And whenever the fuel volume is exactly here, whenever the fuel volume is exactly here, again the light from here, the light source, whatever the energy or whatever the light it is going to emit is exactly reflected back to the photocell. So whenever this photocell, this lower photocell is going to receive some light source from light energy from the light source, it will stop the timer. So start and stop of the timer is going to be decided by this photocell. So whenever the fuel level is here, it is going to emit some light and reflect back to the photocell where timer starts. And whenever the fuel is here, light source is going to be emitted here and reflected back to the photocell. Whenever the photocell is going to be reflected by this light source and received by this photocell is there, then it is going to stop the timer. So we can record the time automatically now. So we get the time and we already know the quantity of fuel which we have taken. Okay, until unless, so that we can measure the fuel consumption here. Here volume by time will give us the fuel consumption directly. So this magnetic valve will help to stop the fuel from the fuel tank directly to the engine. And whenever we need to measure, then it is going to move upwards and will stop or restrict the fuel from the fuel tank, and it will receive whatever the fuel is consumed. It is ensured that the fuel consumption is from this measuring volume bulb only. Okay, through this we are going to consume the fuel. In that way we are going to use timer with the help of some light source here, which is an automatic. So errors may be neglected. Okay, in this device errors to larger extent, whatever the extent may be, to larger extent we can minimize the errors here. So here the uh, errors are very less here, so we can get an accurate measurement of fuel consumption on volume basis. Next, coming to orifice flow meter. Okay, see here already we have two orifices here, two orifice flow meters are going with it. This is the integrated scale here. We have already taken scale on both sides of it. See here, here we have one scale and here we have one scale, and this is the orifice here. Here see from fuel tank, fuel from the fuel tank, and these two are there to x and y are nothing but to balance in between these two orifices. Okay, whenever we need to uh, measure the fuel flow, whenever we need to measure the fuel consumption, then we will open this. Okay, open these walls and make sure that these all are filled. And here there are some calibrated markings are there. So nothing but so these markings indicate that how much amount of or how much quantity of fuel is going to be consumed. Okay, so here there are particular calibrated readings like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means this is the volume. Okay, this is the volume that is going to be consumed. Okay, we can directly know the volume now. Okay, so we can directly know the volume now, and to consume particular volume how much time it has taken. So we have a continuous analysis here. So to consume this much of volume, how much time it has taken we can record. And to consume this much of volume, 2 units. Okay, to consume 2 units of volume, how much time it has taken? Okay, at this mark we will start the timer, and at this mark we will stop the timer. So it is a known quantity. It is a known quantity, and by we already know the volume and time taken, we are already get by the timer. So volume by time will give us the fuel consumption in case of orifice flow meter. Okay, that is what we are ensuring. So some calibrated markings are there. With the help of that, we can make a continuous readings. Okay, continuous measurement of fuel consumption can be known. So to from here, to start this volume of fuel, we will start whenever the fuel is here, and we will stop whenever the fuel is here. So we will start timer here and we will stop the timer here. So to consume this much of volume, how much time it has taken, that we will note down. So volume by time will give us the fuel consumption measurement. In the same way, here also, here also, here also. Okay, these are several calibrated measurements where such measurements are showing such quantity of fuel. Okay, by knowing this reading, we can definitely know how much volume is going to be there. Okay, that means already there are some specifications here. Mark 2 means some quantity of fuel, some pre-calibrated volume of fuel is going to be there in that volume. So to consume that volume, how much time it has taken, we need to record. So finally we will get continuous analysis on fuel consumption on engine basis. So that is what we need to find out. That's what how we are going to find out the measurement of fuel consumption in a volumetric method. Okay, up to now we have known the volumetric methods, and now the gravimetric method. Okay, I already said two basic things in laboratory are there. One is volumetric and the other one is gravimetric. In case of gravimetric method, what we need to do? So why we need to go for gravimetric method? In gravimetric method, to no, whatever the mathematical calculations that are there, they are going to be in kg per second, like that only. So we need not the volume, we don't need the volume to measure indicated power, all those. Okay, since all the quantities are going to be in kg per second, kilowatts, like that, we need to take the according to the mass basis. Okay, so that's why we need to measure the fuel consumption in case of kg per second, like that. Okay, so that's why we have such a pan here. So it is a simple description of a fuel measurement in gravimetric analysis. First of all, we will have a fuel tank here, and this is valve A, and this is valve B, and this is the flask which this is a flask where the fuel is going to be filled here whenever we need to measure the fuel consumption in terms of gravimetric method. And this is the pan of weighing balance. That means how much fuel we have taken, that is shown in terms of kgs. Okay, how much amount of fuel we have taken, that is shown by this pan of weighing balance. That means it will, this weighing balance pan will show us how much fuel is there within the flask here. And this is to engine. So whenever we need not to measure the fuel consumption in case of gravimetric analysis, we will close this valve. Okay, and we will open this valve. Okay, and we will open this valve and we will close this valve whenever we don't need to measure the fuel consumption. But whenever we need to measure the fuel consumption, first of all, by opening valve A and B, we will fill the flask here. First of all, we will fill the flask until a known quantity of fuel. That means, for suppose we need to take 2 kg of fuel. That means we need to know to fill, to consume 2 kg of fuel, how much time it has taken. Okay, so first of all, we take that 2 kg of fuel into the flask now with the help of this pan of weighing balance. Okay, so here already we have taken such a known quantity of fuel in terms of weight here. Okay, in terms of kg. Now we have already taken some fuel into it, which we have already known. Okay, how we can know? With the help of this pan of weighing balance. Okay, this will show us how much quantity or how much amount of fuel is there within this flask. For suppose 1 kg of fuel we have taken. Okay, so until we reach the, until the pan shows 1 kg of fuel. Okay, until the pan shows 1 kg, we will continue the fuel tank to fill the flask. Whenever it has reached 1 kg, we will stop this valve A. Okay, now we will start the engine. Now this valve B is going to be in closed open position. Okay, whenever we need to measure the fuel consumption, we will close this valve after filling the flask. After filling certain quantity of fuel, whatever the known quantity of fuel we need, that much amount of fuel we have already taken, and after that we are going to close valve A, and now we will feed the engine with the help of this fuel. Whatever the fuel within the flask is there, we will run the engine with the help of this fuel within the weighing balance or within the flask. So for that we need to open the valve B. So we will open valve B, and the whatever the fuel in the flask is there, that is going to be consumed to run the engine. And in particular we need to see the engine first of all. Why? Because speed we need to consider. At constant speed we need to maintain the engine, then only we will get the correct fuel measurement without any errors. To eliminate errors, the engine speed should be constant, and we need whenever the fuel consumption is going to be started, then we have to start the recording of time. We need to start the timer, so that timer goes on elapsing. That means it will show time how much it is going to take. And whenever the whole fuel is consumed, that means whenever the whole fuel within the flask is going to be completed, then we will stop the timer. So we will get start and stop of the, and we already know the amount of fuel we have taken. So that amount of fuel taken by time taken will give us the gravimetric analysis of fuel consumption. That is what a gravimetric measurement of fuel consumption. Okay, we first of all we need to close this valve, and after that we need to consume the fuel, or we need to supply the fuel to the engine. Whatever the fuel within the flask is there, that fuel we need to send to the engine, and we need to start whenever the fuel consumption is going to be started by the engine, and we will stop the timer whenever the whole fuel is going to be completed, so that we can find out the fuel consumption in kg per second, so that we can use them for further indicated, to find out indicated power and all those. Okay, so that's what thermal efficiency and all those. Next, coming to the fuel consumption measurement in vehicles. Okay, so it is going to be the third method. This is the third method, fuel consumption measurement in vehicles. I already said this to you. This will give us the accurate measurement. It is going to involve traffic signals. That means according to the traffic, how much fuel is going to be consumed will be there. According to the driver habits, that means depending upon the type of acceleration he given, type of deceleration he given, and depending upon the cold start. Okay, that means during during winter season, the we need to open the or this the choke valve. That means it may take some more fuel. Choke valve opening means we are allowing more fuel to get into the combustion chamber, so that's why the fuel consumption may be more. So all practical, all original accurate testing requirements are going to be there in case of this type of fuel measurement. So here, first of all, this is a burette which is of 1 liter, capacity of 1 liter, and this measurement is going to be in kilometers per liter. So we will fill this burette. Okay, this is a needle valve to fill burette. Okay, from fuel tank. This is the fuel tank, and this is the carburetor. And from this fuel tank line, we will attach this to the needle valve, and from this needle valve the burette is going to be filled here. Okay, this is the fuel pump outlet, and this is the fuel pump inlet. So through this fuel pump inlet we will directly connect that to the needle valve to burette, where whenever we need to measure the fuel consumption, then we will attach this to the fuel needle valve, and this through this needle valve the burette is going to be filled here. Okay, from this the burette internally there will be some connection here in between needle valve and the burette. So because of that connection, whenever we send fuel to this needle valve, it will fills the burette of this burette glass is of 1 liter volume. Okay, time is up, I think. So if you have any doubts, please respond, please raise your hands. Otherwise, I will end the session because of lack of time. I will explain this next class.